Tonight on the Black Channel. Oh, so it's not just a bunch of malcontent people on the internet saying that there's a problem, huh? The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, the everlasting super fortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college and university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, folks, I got to tell you, we are locked and loaded. We have a lot to cover here tonight, so let's go ahead and just jump right into it here. All right, folks, I wanted to discuss last night because I wanted to discuss the Grand Theft Auto trailer, and I also wanted to wait. I wanted to wait until the next day, see if we got final returns for that situation in Houston. For those of you who did not know, there was a runoff election in Houston. Shelia Jackson Lee had, of course, thrown her Jughead crown into the ring. And, of course, she was probably thinking to herself, well, if Karen Bass could pull it off in Los Angeles, she was telling herself, if Karen Bass could pull it off in Los Angeles, well, surely lightning can strike twice. Certainly, we're safe there in Houston. And what she found out was that, oh, the tides have changed. The tides have changed ridiculously so. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of things here because, boy, I'm telling you, the media has not been very helpful in this regard. I want you all to understand and see exactly how this went down so you can have some idea of exactly what we're talking about here. These are the election results here. Coming to you from KHOU. Election results, John Whitmire, and this is Mr. Whitmire. Just like Shelia Jackson Lee, he's an old fossil who's been in politics for 50 years. Take a look behind him. You see what they're doing there behind him, of course. We get the idea. Oh, there's your minority coalition. All right. Yeah, just in case you were wondering, just in case you all were wondering who he was going to represent or whatever, how that was going to go, just thought you should know. We found that minority coalition we all been looking for, so it's not quite the one you thought you were going to get. Not quite the one you thought you were going to get there. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there it is. All right. They don't seem to be worried. What, us worry? We found that minority coalition. All right. So just wanted to go ahead and throw that in there. All right. Houston elected Democratic State Senator John Whitmire as its next mayor on Saturday night, elevating a Texas lawmaker who has represented the city for 50 years by giving him a victory over U.S. Representative Shelia Jackson Lee in a runoff. Whitmire, 74, who is one of Texas' most powerful Democratic legislators, will now be at the helm of America's fourth largest city. His campaign focused on reducing crime, improving streets, and bringing people together. We all know what reducing crime means. He heavily outspent Jackson Lee, who was running to become Houston's first black female mayor. The Congresswoman's campaign also had to deal with fallout from the release in October of an unverified audio recording that purported to capture her profanely berating staff. I'm not really sure I blame her for berating them. After all, she was losing her ass over here, so she wants y'all to get the hell up and get something happening. She was stressed, don't you see? She was stressed. The Congresswoman's campaign also had to deal with the fallout from the release in October of an unverified audio recording that purported to capture her profanely berating staff. Whitmire and Jackson Lee had made it to Saturday's runoff after emerging from a crowded field of nearly 20 candidates in the November 7th general election. So, folks, had the general election on November 7th. Here you are with the runoff a month later, and Here are the returns, people. These are the election returns. Right here. A total of 201,000 votes. Shelia Jackson Lee got only a little over a third. A little over a third of the vote. A little over a third. Mr. Tough on crime, traditional white male got 64%. Now, I want to go ahead and show you again that, by the way, as you all remember, Shelia Jackson Lee has to have corrective cosmetic surgery on her lips for all the ass kissing that she has done for illegals, non-black people across the board. She's been doing it for years. Every single one of them considers her to be a safe Negro. She doesn't have to quantify her credentials in anybody's mind. They all know which side her bread is buttered on. And when it was time to vote, when it was actually time to vote, when it was time for all those folks that she has been doing the interstellar lip lock with her lips around their butt cheeks for the last 6-7 years, when it was time for them to actually vote, they said, yeah, thanks, mammy, we done with you. We don't need none of that. Look at the grin, y'all. Look at the smile. These are happy people back here behind Mr. Whitmire. These are happy folks. Smiling big. Cheesing. I'm telling you, look, they grinning ear to ear out there, y'all. Grinning ear to ear. Okay, take a look. A picture's worth 1,000 words. Right side of the screen. Teeth. Left side of the screen. Teeth. In the middle, behind the man's head, teeth. It's teeth everywhere. Like McDonald's, they loving it. After all these years of her kissing their ass and letting them all know, by the way, wink, wink, I'm on your side. Don't look for me to do nothing for them niggas. I'm on your side. Okay. All right. Well, we all see how that went. Hey, my man. There's my mans. All right. We all see how it went, don't we? After all this time, she just knew. She just knew. She just knew. People, if the black population had showed up, this number wouldn't be nothing to talk about. It was only 201,000 votes, people. Only 201,000 votes. Only 201,000 votes. The reason that black folk did not show up is because she did not galvanize us to show up. What the hell we voting for? The question we've always asked, show up for what? What the hell we voting for? Why? Vote for what? To do what? You spent the whole damn time making it very clear that we don't exist. Okay, well, vote for what? Don't worry, Roland Martin told me that you'll all come show up. By the way, I haven't checked Roland Martin's Twitter yet. Y'all can go see if he's over there crying or not. You all can go check Roland Martin's Twitter and tell me whether he's over there boo-hooing and singing the Sambo Blues or not. Because you know he always want to try to rep Houston. You know Roland's supposed to have his finger on the pulse of Houston, right? Roland's supposed to have his finger on the pulse of Houston, isn't he? Roland's supposed to be representing Texas A&M, isn't he? Roland's supposed to be that dude in Texas, right? Ain't Roland Martin supposed to be the Democrats' safe political spokesperson in Houston, Texas? Nigga, what happened? Can somebody come and explain to us what happened in Houston? Because old Roland Martin was supposed to have Houston on lock, wasn't he? Isn't that what they always tell us? He's supposed to have Houston on lock. Came right there where he is. He couldn't deliver a damn thing. Roland's in a world of hurt. You're supposed to be able to deliver the goods. But here's another problem here. Shelia Jackson Lee, you and the Congressional Black Caucus have essentially de-blacked yourselves. You've unblacked yourselves. You spent all this time convincing the electorate that it doesn't matter if you're there or not. You're not representing anyone. If you are, you see, you've done the most dangerous thing that you can do in politics. You have lost message discipline. Nobody knows who your constituency is anymore. That's the problem. Nobody knows who your constituency is. Nobody knows what, if they vote for you, they don't know what they're voting for. Now, Mr. Whitmire over here made it very clear what you was voting for with him. Oh, he made it very clear what you were going to be voting for. Reducing crime, not the Mexican cartels though, improving streets in the white neighborhoods, bringing people together. He's bringing them together, all right? He's already started. By the way, Whitmire has already started bringing people together. Don't you see the room of the people he brought together? Don't you all see the room of the people? He's already bringing them together. I'm looking. He said, we're here to bring people together. I see the folk he brought together. These are the people he's bringing together. Okay. I see the people he brought together. His folk know what they're voting for. They know what they're voting for. They know who they're voting for. They know why they're voting for them. They know what they're getting. They know what they're receiving. They know what that's going to be. They know what they're going to get from these folks. So she's committed the biggest crime that you can commit in politics. She's lost message discipline. We don't know who the electorate is. We don't know who it is. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they're asking for. She spent all this time telling us that black issues don't really matter like that. So what you failed to do is galvanize a potent electorate. The black electorate don't know what the hell they've come vote for you for. They have needs, and all of this will vote for us and just assume that we'll wink, wink, take care of you without it ever being stated what we're going to do. Folks ain't going for that anymore. Nobody's going for the wink, wink, trust me. No one's going for the wink, wink, trust me. They don't trust you. This is going to be a moment here where you folks are going to have to look around. In Congress, they're going to be looking around. It's like, oh boy, is this going to be a bellwether of bigger and worse things? Yeah. Sure is. Because this dude, Whitmire, as you can tell, I mean, he's a so-called Democrat who acts like a Republican. He's one of them. Old as dirt. He's one of these Democrats who acts like a Republican. That's what you got to be? That's what you have to be? Well, not really, because if you take a look at the history of the mayors elected in Houston, oh yeah, I didn't bring receipts, I brought invoices. Had Lee Brown back in 98, Sylvester Turner in 2016. What in the hell happened to Shelia? Shelia, nobody knew what the hell they were voting for. It's a new day. You can't sit up here and do the wink, wink, vote for me, black folks. Trust me, vote for me, and trust me, things will get better. Wink, wink. Nobody's going for the wink, wink, trust me vote no more. You got to come out the gate telling folks what they gonna get. You have to be straight up the middle and let us know. And we're not trusting nothing. We want to hear you say what you're going to do. Well, you know, I'm going to come to the church and we going to sing some hymns and loud, come by here, loud, loud. All right, come vote for me now. Remember the sorority girls. That isn't gonna galvanize the young people. Ain't gonna do it. And in case you were wondering if that was an issue or not, this is from KHOU, both candidates, two of Houston's biggest political fixtures, touted their decades-long experience as strong qualifications to lead a growing city, facing challenges that include crime, crumbling infrastructure, and potential budget shortfalls. Quote, I don't mind telling folks what a great city we have, but we've got great challenges. If we will come together and realize it won't be easy. In fact, we will face challenges, but I see that as an opportunity, and I need you to join hands with me. We'll meet our challenges. It'll be an opportunity to show the nation what the city of Houston can do, Whitmire said after the race was called. Whitmire started in the Texas legislature in 1973. People, none of us, including yours truly, wasn't even born in 73. What? He started in 73, and I ain't no spring chicken. He started before most of my audience was born. First as a state representative and the majority of his time as a state senator, Jackson Lee has pretended to represent Houston in Congress since 1995, and before that had served on Houston City Council. So she served on the City Council and couldn't get back to it. Booming growth over the last decade has caused municipal headaches, but has also turned the Houston area into an expanding stronghold for Texas Democrats. Although the mayoral race is nonpartisan, Whitmire and Jackson Lee are both Democrats. Whitmire will be the oldest big city mayor in the U.S. He is set to lead a city which is becoming younger, with a median age of around 35, and with 25% of his population below 18, according to census figures. The choice between Whitmire and Jackson Lee, who is 73, frustrated some Democratic voters, particularly younger voters. At a time when the party is searching for new political stars in Texas who might end 30 years of GOP political dominance. Whitmire will also lead what is considered one of the country's most diverse cities. Of the city's 2.3 million residents, 45% are Latino, white, 23% are black, and 24% are Anglo, white. 1 in every 4 Houston residents was born outside the U.S. Folks, if you were wondering if the buffer class strategy is bearing fruit, 1 in 4, 25% of Houston's population born outside the United States. Oh, Shelia Jackson Lee, hi. Oh, ma'am, sorry, didn't mean to leave you out of that equation either, by the way. Didn't want to leave that out. Well, she knows all about that, doesn't she? Known as the energy capital of the world, Houston's economy has long been tied to mainly the oil industry, but the city is working to become a leader in the transition to cleaner energy. Good luck. Like other large U.S. cities, Houston is also dealing with a lack of affordable housing and concerns among residents over growing gaps between the rich and the poor. I'm sure Mr. Whitmire is going to make sure. These all look like struggling working class people in this room to me. 25% people in Houston, not New York, not Los Angeles, not Miami, Houston. Houston. So let me go ahead and get this straight right quick so that I put these numbers in proper context. There are more immigrants and illegal aliens residing in Houston than there are black people. The illegal alien or immigrant population of Houston is larger than the black population. Let that circulate in your head for just a few moments. Let that circulate for just a few moments here. No wonder they've been letting them across the border unrestricted now for years, because this was the goal. Because when they get over here, who do they vote for? Which is what I have been telling you now for over a decade. They will vote for what they are accustomed to seeing, the Anglo strongman. Even if he's an old man, they are going to vote for that. Which is what I've always said. And now they're just proving it. This is what they go for. They may be unknown quantities in Shelia Jackson Lee's circles, or the dunderheads who vote for folks like her, but among her white Democratic masters, they know the drill. They know the deal. These folks are going to come over here, and this is what they're going to vote for. Soon as you get them off the boat, the plane, cross the border, get them some clean pants, next thing you know, let me head to the polls and go vote for a Republican or a white Democrat. So I want you all to understand what the breakdown of those numbers are and how serious that is. Roland Martin is not going to say the sentence that I just said. Even KHOU, they gave you the breakdown of these things, but they didn't put it in the context that only we here in the black media can give you. That the 1 in 4, well, you just told us that less than 1 in 4 people in Houston is black. So your immigrant population is larger than your black population in Houston. Not on its way to being larger, it's already there. It's already there. That's coming from this over here and this, probably some of this over here. A smattering of this over here. And we found where that minority coalition gonna go. We found it. You want to know what that all adds up to? Roland Martin trying to sell us on, y'all need to quit trying to stop folks at the borders. Okay, Roland. How'd that turn out for you? Do you think Whitmire is going to have your great big butterball built ass on speed dial for anything? Do you think he's going to have you on speed dial for anything? They've been hoping against hope that this kind of thing would not happen here, and now during an election year, going into an election year, this is not the kind of heat they need. This is not what they need. They're getting repeated across the board here. This isn't what they need. And what they've been telling us for the longest time is that those of us over here on this side of black society, that we were alone. They've been telling us all this time that we were just talking into the wind, that we didn't represent anybody, that what we were saying was not the truth and was not coming to pass. When we said that there was a softening of their support, and that particularly it was among that black vote, here's your proof right here, folks. You can take a look and see who the last mayor of Houston was. Old Sylvester Turner, you can see who the last mayor of Houston was. Going on almost a decade now. Folks, it ain't accidental. This number is showing up because nobody's going for the same old okie doke bait and switch anymore. They're not going for it. And Shelia is just the honorary sacrifice. She's too stupid, dumb, old, and senile to realize it, but she's just the honorary sacrifice. Probably a bunch of other dumb young niggas behind her talking about, I'm so glad she out the way so I can go ahead and get up in there. Please. What happened to Shelia Jackson Lee is that Shelia Jackson Lee is no longer in touch with the black grassroots. Shelia Jackson Lee is not in touch with the black grassroots. She sees herself as an immigrant. She considers herself an immigrant, and she's like, okay, I just got to touch bases with them. But there has been an awakening to how this buffer class strategy has been wielded like a sledgehammer. And now folks are telling Shelia Jackson Lee, you got to do something different. And she said, well, let me see if folks are really paying attention. Do you think she thinks folks are really paying attention now? She was wondering if folks were really paying attention. Folks, you take a look at these damn numbers here. This ain't no joke. 64%. I remember 2 years ago. Oh, Roland Oscar Mayer was sitting up here telling us that Texas was going purple. Remember that? Georgia, he said they were going purple. He said Florida was going purple. Talking about Texas going purple. Remember that? I specifically remember Oscar Mayer Martin trying to tell all of us that Florida and Georgia and Texas were going purple. That, we turning it purple over there. Well, I don't know, folks. I guess as long as it's a Democrat, Well, here's the purple he was referring to. Wow, that purple looks a lot like the red you told us that we were moving away from. That purple sure does look exactly like the red that you told us that we were moving away from. It sure looks just like it. Hard lessons being learned here. Hard lessons being learned. And you're going to have a lot of splaining going on. And a lot of these folks up here are going to try to rewrite things. And, oh, well, that wasn't such a big issue. Man, that was supposed to be a shoo-in. Former Houston council member, U.S. representative, got a lot more name recognition than Whitmire does. And yet Whitmire whipped her badly. Not a little bit, whooped her bad. No, do not expect the Democrats to back down from this. Do not expect them to absorb the lesson and pivot and change. Don't expect that to happen at all. They are not going to back down. They're going to double down. Do not expect them to do that at all. Just understand they're going to go back to the drawing board. They're going to sit up here and sweep her ashes from under the bus they threw her under and see if they can go ahead and rinse and repeat. That's all they're going to do. That's it. That's it. Now, folks, we've been telling them this here for the longest time. We've been telling them this here for the longest time. We've been telling them for the longest time what was going to happen if they didn't listen. We told them for the longest time what was going to occur. We told them what was going to occur if they didn't listen. They were telling us that it wasn't real. They were telling us that Roland Martin had the inside track. They were telling us it wasn't going to be an issue. No, they're not going to hear it very clearly. They're not going to hear your words. They're going to hear your actions. They're not going to believe our words, people. They're only going to believe our actions. I want you to understand that. They're not going to believe our words. They're only going to believe our actions. And they are not going to acknowledge this string of defeats and everything we're saying. They're not going to acknowledge it until after it's beaten them into the concrete. Then you're going to see the white corporate media jump up and all of a sudden start acknowledging it. But they're not going to do it right now. They're not going to do it right now. They've been telling you, well, don't worry, we ain't worried about it. They're going to act like they didn't see it. Joe Biden's falling numbers, Trump's ascending numbers. No, everybody's going to act like they don't see it. Recently, they've been acknowledging about that black vote. They mentioned it for a moment, and then they shut up. When we get in the next year, they're either going to ignore it altogether, or it's going to be the only thing they're going to be talking about, because these numbers right here, man, you can't live with this. You can't live with numbers like this. See, California is not a microcosm of America. Texas is far closer to a microcosm of America than California. California's some weird, wacky, way out place. Texas is a lot closer to what America is. Talk about the folks on the coast, talk about the flyover states. It's the flyover states that decide who's going to run things. And Texas is far more indicative of what you are going to be able to do nationally than California is. California is some pipe dream, some fantasy, some delusion. Texas gives you a more concrete idea what you're going to have to deal with. Georgia gives you a more concrete idea what you're going to have to deal with. That gives you more of an idea what the black vote's going to do nationally. Those places, not California, not New York. This right here was devastating. She lost by a margin of 2-1. She lost by a margin of 2-1. All that boot licking and ass kissing on all the immigrant population, and this is what you got for it. This is what it got you. Hard heads make for soft asses is the moral of this story. And don't worry, they're going to have to get them butt cheeks tenderized some more. They are not going to take the hint. They're going to have to get them butt cheeks tenderized some more. They're not going to believe it. They're going to have to get them things softened up some more. Trust me, folks, they are going to fight this to the bitter, bitter, ugly end. Because we have gone past all the bull jive and gotten straight to direct tangibles for us. That means in order to get our vote, you got to do some game-changing stuff. We're not going for tokens. We're not going for disproportionate. We're not going for trick bag language. We're not going for, well, this kind of deals with your issue in a sideways way. We're like, oh, no, we got to have some direct benefits. Not any more indirect anything. Gonna be hard as hell to do that. I will tell you one thing. Whitmire's constituency said we need to see some direct benefits. He beating your ass 2-1. That's the name of the game now. 2-1. She's not the only one. She's not the only one. Down there in Texas, they're voting for Mr. Law and Order. Up there in New York, Mr. Law and Order is getting his ass handed to him right now. None too nicely. We're going to get to that here in just a few moments. Before we do, we're going to take a very brief non-commercial break. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo, my man Black Voltron Reloaded. As always, thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that. Zachariah, the Messiah, D. Thomas, everybody else here, thank you very much for your support. I got a few people in here. This is your first time contributing to Super Chat. Thank you very much for signing up and contributing there. We appreciate that. We are still working on the issues with PayPal. So like I say, PayPal has locked up our account over there. Actually, PayPal locked up the account and Cash App has locked up the Black Channel Cash App. So we're still working on getting that taken care of. But for now, if you are so inclined, you can definitely use our alternatives to PayPal. So we do have Venmo, Super Chat, and the business Cash App, which is listed in the description of the video. We're going to take a very brief non-commercial break. When we come back, we'll be dealing with that and more. This is the Black Channel.
Hello, my name is Steve Burgess, and I'm the author of this book, Guidelines for the Successful Student, a closer look at parenting your school-aged child. In this book, I've explained the role of the parent and the student in addition to what accommodations, procedures, rewards and consequences and expectations that need to be in place to ensure student success from primary to high school. This book is available on Amazon.com. For more information, please visit my link tree at Easy One-on-One. And to access my latest podcast, A Teaching Moment with Mr. B. Thank you all for listening.
A white supremacist assassin seeks revenge. Corrupt FBI agents with evil intentions. Dangerous black collaborators dedicated to treason. Occam Jeffers must defeat them all and somehow survive. One misstep and he's a dead man. Join Occam Jeffers as he looks the devil in his blue eyes and tells him, Black first. A sequel to the underground hit War of the Heart, Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents God Love Us, on sale at Amazon. Pre-order and save today. Visit spirit-of-1811publishing.com and show your love.
Order yours today. to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' natural body butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be back with you all here this evening. And man, oh man. Folks, they giving Mayor Eric Adams up there in New York, they giving him the work. They're giving him the business. They are laying it on him. No mercy. They're not even giving him a chance to breathe. From ABC Channel 7. Eric Adams' 28% approval rating is the lowest of any New York City mayor in over a quarter of a century in a new poll. It's the worst rating ever for a mayor, said David Birdsell of King University. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has faced many crises during his tenure so far, and now he faces an approval rating lower than any mayor's in over a quarter century. On a frigid street corner near Union Square Wednesday night, a father and his children sat in the cold and asked for help. It's not new to New Yorkers, but to many it's worse, and some are blaming Mayor Adams. Folks, they giving it to him. Nigga, you ain't gonna make it to the next election. We ain't gonna let you make it that far. We're already gonna go ahead and start the narrative on you. It has been a year of careening crises for Adams. Boy, do y'all see them working him over? Do you see them working him over, folks? They've used the word crises now. They've used the word crises twice. Oh, they dirty up there in New York, y'all. In the media, they dirty up there, aren't they? They've used the word crises twice. For those of you who don't know, crises is the plural of crisis. When you see that E instead of the I, that means more than one. And so just that quickly, they throwing that word crises around. Adams face crises for Adams. Boy, the media's working him over. The flood of asylum seekers, illegal aliens, from the southern border has consumed his administration and has been so overwhelming that it has gutted budgets and diverted city workers. Now, Adams is paying the price among voters. Paying the price among voters, but it hasn't been an election yet. What do you mean paying the price among voters? All right. This is bad. In fact, it's the worst rating ever for a mayor, said David Birdsell of King University. Now, you notice they first say it's the worst in 25 years, and they bring this guy and keep quoting him saying it's the worst ever. So you notice they keep switching back and forth between those two. A Quinnipiac college poll, shows that a record 58% of registered New York City voters disapprove of the job Adams is doing. Just 28 actually approve. Among the most important issues, 72% disapprove of his handling of the homeless issue, while 66% say he hasn't handled the migrant crisis well, and 60% say Adams, a former police officer, hasn't done enough about crime. Damn, Eric, they giving you the work. Folks, they ain't backing off of him at all. Not at all. 72% disapprove, 66% disapprove, 60% disapprove. Damn. They just giving it to him. Former police officer, you're not very good against crime, but remember, Eric was telling us about how we need all these illegals. These illegals are great. So all those millionaires and billionaires that put this sock puppet in the office so that he could sit up here and bring them in a bunch of free and cheap labor so he can continue doing what they can continue doing what they do. So they can continue doing what they do. And yet he's going to be the fall guy. If you're unhappy, they're going to be like, well, if you're unhappy, go vote him out. He's already let all the illegals in. So you see, they're not going to vote out all the millionaires and billionaires that caused this and send him there to do that. Well, you can't vote them out. So you're going to wind up voting out their puppet. That's what he put himself in position to do. It's like, they're not going to vote out the millionaires and billionaires who paid your dumb ass off, fool. They're going to get rid of you. You're the one who's going to pay for it. A spokesman for the mayor said, quote, incorrect polls come out every day. What? Folks, this is called denial. That's what this is called. This is called denial. That's what this is. I think they're mistaking the usual New Yorker surliness. You know, they're mistaking what they're seeing right now for the usual New Yorker surliness. No, this is something different. No, they really mean this. No, this is beyond just the usual New York hostility. No, we're way beyond that. A spokesman for the mayor said, quote, incorrect polls come out every day, but the real numbers can't be questioned. Crime is down. Folks, the real numbers can't be questioned. Crime is down. Jobs are up. The city is in a better place under Mayor Adams' leadership. What? So just ignore this up here. Well, incorrect polls come out every day. We're not worried about that. Why, the people are thrilled with him. The people are thrilled with the mayor. I hope the mayor's spokesman has a OnlyFans. If I were you, buddy, I wouldn't be hanging around waiting for that second term. You might want to go ahead and set up your account for your OnlyFans now. See if you can get that popping. With some of those New York City police officers who look like booty models, yeah, they don't fight crime. They just stand around chirping on their cell phones. You might want to go ahead and open up your OnlyFans. Yeah, I'm talking about, I see it says spokesman. Yeah, if it's a guy, yeah, you might want to go ahead and just open up your OnlyFans just in case the next election doesn't go the way you tell yourself it will. Just in case things don't work out in this next election cycle, you need to be prepared. The city is in a better place under Mayor Adams' leadership, but the voters don't seem to be seeing that yet. Quote, it's messaging, but it's also about what people feel. And right now, the large number of homeless on the street, the large number of examples of people acting out on the subways, they give people a sense of what the city is like. Birdsell said. The homeless rate is high, the crime rate is high, and the transit is awful, one resident said. And that's about to get worse. The two issues most on the minds of registered voters are crime and affordable housing. Y'all worrying about affordable housing. Eric Adams and Governor Hochul are about to give you, you don't just have unaffordable housing, you're about to have unaffordable driving. Get to that in just a moment. According to the polls, 65% of people said they support raising taxes on the wealthy to help fix the city's problems. Man, if y'all don't sit your asses down, the wealthy are the ones who sent him there. And now Eric Adams and Governor Hochul, as I told you all before, they've installed cameras down there in southern Manhattan that are going to be charging drivers a toll. They say they got that idea from London, as if, yeah, America needs London's legal framework here. So now Southern Manhattan is going to be charging you. They got cameras on the streets. They'll take pictures of your license plate. They're going to be charging you for driving on the streets your taxes pay for. Let me get this straight. Your taxes are paying for those streets, and they now want to charge you a toll for the streets that your taxes have already paid for. Now, there are some folks who are saying, well, that's just down there near the financial district, and that's down there, was that south of 60th Street, I think it is? That's just down there. Folks, that's coming everywhere. Don't you be a fool. Mark my damn words. That's going to be everywhere before they get done. They're going to have those cameras all over New York. They're going to probably try to get them all over the 5 boroughs, including the airport. Jason, including the airport? Hell yeah. Remember, I used to live in Dallas. There's a toll to go into DFW. For those of you who don't know, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, it's got a toll. Don't give a damn where you coming from. Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport has a toll to go in there. Always has. So you think that New York hasn't been looking at it? Well, hell, you didn't get away with that in Texas. Well, why, of course, New York will let us do that at LaGuardia and JFK. Why would we not do that? Besides, we need, by the way, folks, don't be a fool. We need the new money to pay for all of these illegal aliens that we just brought in. What? Yeah, where's that $1 billion gonna come from to pay for all those illegal aliens that the billionaires on Billionaires Row and overlooking Central Park and overlooking Madison Avenue and Park Avenue? Yeah, where's the money gonna come from to pay for all the illegals that they're bringing in to come work for all these rich white folks? Oh, we're gonna charge you. We're gonna charge you. You're gonna pay for this. Oh, we're not gonna raise the taxes on them rich folk because they need to pay for a 5th yacht and a 12th condo. Oh, no, we're gonna charge you, the working class people, the Uber people, the cab drivers, the citizen driving and commuting to work up and down Hudson Parkway. We're gonna charge you to pay for all these illegals that we brought in. We brought in the illegals. Then we told you, oh, we got a big old mess. The big old mess is you brought them in. No, the big mess is we need to have infrastructure to handle them. No, we don't. They need to be back on a plane to take them back where they were. They got a ride from Texas to New York. They need to get a ride from New York back to Guatemala. So what they're doing here is saying, oh, don't worry. Eric Adams told you about all this new cost. Oh, we got that handled. Oh, it's going to be a whole bunch of new tolls we're going to drop on you. And I just want you all to understand, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. This is not going to be just in Southern Manhattan. They're just going to sit up here and do this in Southern Manhattan, and then next they're going to tell you that the program is expanding. They're going to just tell you the program is expanding. Next thing you know, it's going to creep its way up. Lower East Side, creep its way on up. Creep its way on up. Next thing you know, 110th Street, looking at you. Looking at you, 110th Street. Man, ain't that the definition of locked and boxed? If they bring this damn program all the way up to 110th Street, you sitting up there, you can't leave out of Harlem and Washington Heights and Inwood. $23 a damn day. And Adams will be long gone by then. They will have flushed him down the toilet. Adams will be long gone. Kathy Hochul, man, look here. There's a worthless ass failed porn star if I ever saw one. Please. That woman should be changing bedpans at one of those damn nursing homes. She's the governor of the frickin' state. The only thing she needs to be governing are her ABCs. Have you ever seen early onset senility? Take a look at her. There it is. Some of y'all think you're safe, but you're not. They said they're here to fight congestion. The whole damn city is congested. What the hell you talking about? The whole damn city is congested. So they're going to be like, ooh, we got to do something about that. Next thing you know, y'all are going to hear them bring them cameras over to Brooklyn. Mark my words, first Manhattan, next Brooklyn. Next Brooklyn. And if I was a betting man, I'd say we're going to put them somewhere around Barclay. We're going to put them somewhere around the Barclays Center, somewhere in that area. So anybody trying to head back towards Manhattan, because for those of you who don't know, if you've never been to New York, particularly if you've never been to Manhattan before, there's a toll to enter the island of Manhattan. George Washington Bridge, if you're coming up Interstate 95 and you go around the George Washington Bridge, Lincoln Tunnel, Holland Tunnel, there's a toll to get into Manhattan. There's not a toll-free way to get into Manhattan unless you're like already over in Queens, already over in Brooklyn. So now there's tolls all over the damn place in New York. Now, hey, they're not gonna put a toll on directly on the Brooklyn Bridge. That ain't gonna work. But you know they've wanted to put a toll on that damn thing forever. They've wanted to put a toll on the Brooklyn Bridge forever. Well, guess what? Now there won't be a toll on the Brooklyn Bridge. Mark my words. Eventually, they're going to try to figure out how to put a toll before you get to the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, for folks who don't live in New York, my people in New York understand what I'm talking about here. They know when you come off the Brooklyn Bridge, I mean, if you keep straight, you know, you go by Barclays Center, you go by Junior's Cheesecakes and all that. And, hell, it would be very easy work to put those cameras on the street before you can get to the Brooklyn Bridge. It would be very easy work to put those cameras on the street before you get to the Brooklyn Bridge. Very easy. So my folks in New York know what the hell I'm talking about. They know what the hell I'm talking about. Oh man, if you think Brooklyn gonna be safe, Brooklyn's gonna be safe, no, they're going to want to catch you right before you get there. They're going to catch you. They want to catch you right before that you have no choice but to go do that damn thing. They're going to want to catch you right before you get there. No, ain't going to be no getting around it. Don't think you're going to be able to get your way around through Dumbo. Don't think you're going to go around through Dumbo and get, no, ain't going to have none of that. Oh no, trust me. When they get done in Manhattan, watch them start eyeing Brooklyn. Yeah, $17. It was $20. I just came from there a few months ago. Just came back through there a few months ago, man. It was $20 Lincoln Tunnel. Hell, it's been that way, though. They took all the people out of there. Now they just got cameras over the thing. So you don't even really need the Easy Pass or anything. They got cameras over it. Take a picture of your license plate and mail it to you. I'm sitting in Louisiana. Here comes my toll from New York and New Jersey, actually. Oh, they give you the business. And getting the Easy Pass only kind of just take the edge off. It only takes a few dollars off. It's not like it cuts it in half. It's not like getting the Easy Pass cuts the toll in half. It only takes a couple of dollars off of it. You say Verrazano is $25 now? I can believe it. I want to say that because Whitestone Bridge, have they got the tolls up and running on Whitestone yet? I was driving across Whitestone before they got I know they're going to get the tolls up and go. It's been a couple of years. but I was driving across Whitestone Bridge before they got the tolls operational. Did they ever get the tolls working on Whitestone? Did they ever get the tolls working on that damn thing? Or are y'all still able to get across that son of a gun without getting told just yet? My folks up there know which one I'm talking about, but can y'all get across Whitestone yet without the toll? Or have they finally put those demonic things up? Okay, they're in the chat room, they're just saying yes. I don't know what yes. Oh, the tolls are there now. Okay. Yeah, they put those little demonic things up. I was there. I was able to get across the bridge when they had finished it, and I was able to get across the bridge before they got the tolls active. But I was seeing the bars and stuff up there, so I was seeing what they were doing. I'm like, oh, let me scoot through here let me hurry up and get my business done before y'all get this happening. I'm seeing where this is going. Brand new bridge, brand new toll. Brand new bridge, brand new toll. That's all. They building bridges so they can toll your ass. If there's a body of water and you want to get across it, I mean, these bastards are worse than the phrase from Game of Thrones. For my folks who watch Game of Thrones, I'll be damned. New York City is worse than the phrase charging people to go across the bridge. And old Eric Adams is going to sit here and catch the damn flack. That's what he's going to catch. But, and you know, this is one of the things right here, probably the most underrated film that I've done so far was Gentrified. Gentrified is probably the most underrated one I've done because it really got off into the X's and O's and the numbers, and it resonates with people in big cities, but in smaller places, that message might not resonate as much, only now it's beginning to. But folks, I was warning people, although I'll go ahead and say this tonight, I didn't get to focus on this aspect of it because my running time was going kind of long. I didn't get to focus on the aspect of Gentrified that I really nail down on it really heavy, that this was part of a strategy. I've been telling you all now for over a decade, the strategy, the goal is to get you all out of these big cities, to depopulate these big cities so that there is no more middle class. There's only the very wealthy and then the very poor who work for them. Follow me. There'll only be two populations, the very wealthy and the very poor who work for them. Because, I mean, when I went to Detroit, I was stunned. You have the city of Detroit. I'm pulling into downtown Detroit. The traffic in downtown Detroit at 5 p.m. was as light as the traffic. I say light, but I'm from a much smaller city in Shreveport, Louisiana, and yet the traffic in Detroit was as light as the traffic in Shreveport, Louisiana at 5 and 6 in the evening. So I'm driving around all these big skyscrapers and all these big sports arenas, and yet it wasn't a whole bunch of congestion. And when I saw that, I said, oh, so this is what all these rich folks want. Why, they're going to depopulate the cities. They're going to empty the cities out. And then they're going to have all these gleaming skyscrapers and all these gleaming condos and all these gleaming high-rises all to themselves. Why, they built them for the so-called masses of people. When they get done, they're gonna kick all y'all out, and it's going to be glorious. By the way, it's demonic, it's devilish, as Dr. John Henry Clark called it. You know, the demonic genius of Europe. Oh, we're going to empty the cities out. We're going to depopulate them. And when we get done, imagine, y'all, let me tell you right now, imagine being able to walk around downtown Los Angeles and there's only 20 people there, not 2,000. The folks in Los Angeles would love that. I told you before, I've seen video of Interstate 10 back in the 60s or 70s, you know, back when this Marilyn Monroe was running around and whatnot. And I was like, man, traffic was so light in Los Angeles back then. I was like, man, I bet you LA was the spot back then, except for white supremacists and police beating on folk. But I'm like, man, look here, you could actually get around that place. Today, y'all, I bull jive you not. I was in a traffic jam in Los Angeles that was so bad one time, trying to get from the 110 to the 10. Traffic jam was so bad, it took me 2 hours to drive 5 miles. 2 hours. I was in traffic so long, I was literally getting physically angry. I'm like, no wonder y'all got so many road rage issues out here. 2 hours to go 5 miles. It was insane. Now, it turns out there was actually some accident that caused that, but still, now they can. These folks here, man, I'm just telling you, if they can, the goal is to empty out these cities. And when they get done, I'm telling y'all, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. Oh, it's going to be nice. And understand something. New York will be more expensive than it's ever been when they get done. When they get done, it's going to be more expensive than it's ever been. Jason, why? For the same reason you can't buy a house today. The millionaires and billionaires are spending crazy money for housing in New York City when it's overpopulated, when they start emptying you all out and now they can have their pick of the litter of the real estate they want, they will bid twice as much as they're paying right now. They'll pay twice as much when they can when they can buy a whole floor. When they get rid of the rest of you, price the rest of you out, price you completely out the city, all these places that they wanted to have all to themselves, all this. Okay, let me try to get an analogy here. It would be like around Columbus Circle at 10 o'clock at night. I just gave something there. Only New Yorkers are going to know what I'm talking about. Only they will. The rest of you around America, around the world, you probably won't know what I'm talking about. But it'll be like being around Columbus Circle at 10 o'clock at night. Now, imagine that being the conditions in New York 24 hours a day. That the conditions you're living under now will be gone. And the conditions that you'll be living under then is going to be more like what you see in Columbus Circle at 10 o'clock at night. Imagine emptying it out to that level. By the way, this isn't speculation. My folks living in Detroit, they've already done that there. They've already emptied out Detroit. And let me go ahead and put a little historical context in this. Oh, y'all, we doing it the whole damn way here. 720 degrees of analysis you'll receive nowhere else. Do you all remember the first RoboCop movie? Where was that story centered out of? Where did that story, in the story, what city were they in? Detroit. For those of you, if you ever saw the first RoboCop movie, what city were they in? Detroit. This is back in the damn, 80s or early 90s when that movie was made. Detroit. What was their goal? What was the goal of the evil corporation, Omni Consumer Products? We're going to empty out the population and build new Detroit with a bunch of gleaming skyscrapers for a bunch of millionaires and billionaires. Folks, this was back in the damn 80s. You way late. If you're just now thinking, but that's conspiracy. Well, that's speculation. Man, what the hell's wrong with you? Your mama dropped you on your head while she was smoking the crack pipe. Dude, they've been talking about this. They've been talking about this. How we can go ahead and empty it out. And Detroit is the poster child. Why? Industrial hub, but large black population. How you gonna get them folks up out of there? Well, mission accomplished in Detroit. Now you're building up these other cities to get the money popping, but then you need to depopulate them because the rich folk don't have enough space to enjoy their wealth. All these rich folk that they brought in, they like being there, but they don't have enough room and enough space and enough freedom to be able to enjoy their wealth. There are too many other people living there. Now, they need a lot of them to work, but it's like, okay, what do we do to manage this? Because we need a workforce, but we don't want these bastards living here. Oh, well, that's simple. Price their asses out. So they build tolls everywhere. There's nowhere to live. The housing is unaffordable. Still not enough. Well, damn it, charge their asses to drive. Charge them to come into Manhattan. Charge them if they drive here and then roll this out to the other areas. This will force them to leave. And to my people who live in the Carolinas, my people who live in Georgia, you all have seen an avalanche of people coming down from New York. You all have seen an avalanche of them coming down from New York. Rick Ross yelling about Miami, and yet where is his house? If you don't believe that, Miami is trying to be the next New York City. By the way, Rick Ross been yelling about Miami all these decades. By the way, where is Rick Ross's mansion at? Where is Rick Ross's mansion? I'm just asking for a friend. Yeah, I mean, they're starting to sprinkle down into Kentucky. They've been coming down into Tennessee and Davidson County and Nashville. So they've been making their way down there. But yeah, all them folks in New York who are getting priced out, all the old timers with their brownstones, they're selling their brownstones to rich folk. They're selling their brownstones to the rich, and the black folk in Harlem are selling the brownstones to the rich, so them and their kids and their grandkids got to get up and leave. They're going to go buy themselves something more reasonably priced, quote unquote, reasonably priced in Charlotte or Fayetteville or whatever, Atlanta, Augusta. Yeah, they're coming down to Virginia. I mean, anything below Pennsylvania. Yeah, they're coming down to the southern states. Anything below Pennsylvania. They don't want to fool with Maryland. They don't want to fool with Pennsylvania. Anything below Pennsylvania, now they're flooding in. And the whole point is, yeah, that's the goal. To get the displaced population not to just leave the block, but to leave the entire city. Hell, you can't go upstate. You can't do that. You can't go upstate. There's nowhere to go. All my folks up there in Westchester, Rochester, Tarrytown, there ain't nowhere to go. It looks like San Francisco up there, but ain't nowhere for you to go. Albany, niggas trying to get piled. I told y'all years ago, forget about running to Albany. That ain't gonna work. That's already a done deal. Albany is already done. You ain't gonna be. They can't pile too many more of y'all up there. That's it. Now you gotta leave the state, and that's what folks are being forced to do. And I'm just telling you right now, they're kicking it into overdrive. So they're bringing in their new slave / labor population. And as I predicted years ago, there will only be 2 inhabitants of these big cities. There will be the very rich who will have the run of the roost. They'll be able to go everywhere they want to go. And then there will be the very poor who work for them. That middle class, they're going to want to knock that down to about 20% of what it currently is. I'm telling y'all right now what the goal in New York City is. The goal in New York City is to cut New York's population in half. The goal in New York City is to cut New York City's population in half. Half. And they will not have to raise taxes to do it. There will be fewer drivers on the road. There will be fewer people in the city. It will just be the illegal aliens and their children going to the public schools. So, of course, the millionaires and billionaires have no problem educating their workforce, but they will not have to pay more in taxes to do it because they chopped the population in half. Folks, you ain't run the damn numbers. If you haven't run the numbers and if you haven't seen how societal engineering works, those numbers work out perfectly. Cut the population in half. All you got to do is invest in the young folk who are going to take care of washing your cars, take care of making up the beds in your high-rise hotels. New York City doesn't make money off of Airbnb. They make money off of investing, which means they make money off of their money. They don't have to produce goods and services. They make money off their money. That's what Wall Street is all about. Wall Street doesn't build a damn thing. Wall Street makes money off of money. Now it's time to get rid of the rest of you. All they need is the working class. All they need is the immigrant slave labor class to sit up here and maintain what they got. Yes, they want to take the population down to something closer to the size of what you got in Houston or Dallas. Yes, and take a look at how much easier it is to get around Houston or Dallas, well, Dallas at least, than it is to get around New York. They've been dreaming of taking New York back to that for decades. The same way that Los Angeles has been dreaming about it, though they're going to have a much longer progress curve. I've told you all now for a decade, the goal in New York City is to cut that population in half. That means millions of you got to go. And no, they don't care if you all move over to New Jersey because they got tolls that you'll be giving them money if you live in New Jersey. So you can work in New York, get your ass back over to New Jersey. I mean, that's the sweet spot. But eventually, that ain't gonna work because New Jersey is starting to kick up its toll game. New Jersey's already got crazy ass taxes. Now they're gonna kick up their toll game. That's it. Get your ass out the Northeast. Going up into the New England states is not an option. There isn't enough land, and there certainly is not enough housing or land to develop for housing for millions of people. That means your ass got to go south. And you will have, in the process, you'll be giving them what they've wanted for decades, the most benevolent, humane form of ethnic cleansing that the world has ever witnessed. The most humane form of ethnic cleansing that humanity has ever seen. And they will tell you all that you chose it. They will tell you all that you chose it. That's what they're going to say. They're going to say that this was your choice. They're going to say that this was your decision. Well, we didn't do it to you. Well, this was beyond our control. Well, we couldn't really stop this from happening. And the guy who put it into motion, Eric Adams, will be gone. He'll be a laughingstock like Bill de Blasio, but these folks are disposable. These politicians are disposable. These politicians are disposable. They don't give a damn about none of that. They are here for the purposes of being disposed of. That's the whole point. They're here to be gotten rid of. So when you do finally turn around and take some action, well, next thing you know is, he's gone. He's gone. Okay, but the problem that they caused is still there. The problem that they caused is still there. I want to touch on one more thing here before I get done. As you all know, some folks, you give them a little bit of money, they know what to do. You give them a lot of money, they lose their damn minds. Folks loved Elon Musk while they were making defenses for him and defending Elon Musk when his white supremacy was attacking black folk. Well, that was cool. That was great. That was fine. That was okay. Now that Elon is like, man, I'm going hog wild. Now everybody wants to yell and chirp about him. And no less, boy, Elon said, man, look here. I'm going to make Howard Hughes, look him up. I'm going to make Howard Hughes look like damn me Neil deGrasse Tyson. Oh, Elon put up a poll and said, should I reinstate Alex Jones? Yeah, I know. $1 billion judgment. Yeah, I know. Dead kids. Yeah, I know. Mass school shooting. Yeah. Hey, would you like me to bring Alex back to Twitter? Well, Alex is back on Twitter. Yeah, some of these folks who were sitting up here patting him on the back and congratulating him and, oh, man, it doesn't really matter here. Hey, Elon, do what you do. Give them Negroes the business. Well, I mean, Elon is like, hey, let me see if I can top that. Let me see if I can top that. Let me see if I can top it. Over 1 million followers. Okay. Over 1 million followers. All right. There you go. Yes, a whole bunch of folks learning things the hard way this year. They're learning things the hard way. Yeah, you thought Elon was cute when you thought he was just messing with black folk. Then he sits up here and takes a few swipes at the Jews. Now you want to sit up here and jump up and start yelling. Then he's like, you know what? As a matter of fact, damn your kids. Now you want to squeal and chirp. Okay, but you know what? You gave him PayPal, who is currently discriminating against me. Y'all gave him, you brought this white Afrikaner. I said it. You brought this white Afrikaner all the way over here from South Africa. You let him set up PayPal. You made him a billionaire. You funded him to set up Tesla. You put in government tax credits. Elon Musk has been made the richest man in the world off of our tax dollars. That government tax credit for electric vehicles is essentially a Tesla tax credit. Then you give him SpaceX and the Boring Company and every damn thing he does. He's got his money in our damn taxpayer pockets. Black folk can't get a damn city contract. Elon Musk is getting billions of dollars in our government taxpayer money, taking money from us, giving it to this white supremacist. And now he's like, you know what? Damn it all, I'm invincible. Let me go ahead and let y'all know what I really think. And remember, this dovetails off of last night's program about GTA 6, Grand Theft Auto 6. Why is it that Tim Pool and so many of these suspected white supremacists love that game so much? Tim said what it was for. I just want to sit down and invoke unrestricted mayhem and destruction. What the hell is Alex Jones promoting? What does he promote? Unrestricted mayhem and destruction. Damn truth, damn reality. I'm white and I say so. Got himself sued to oblivion. And Elon said, you know what? I think I got enough money to resurrect you from oblivion. There we are. We gonna do this. And our tax dollars as black folk, our tax dollars are subsidizing that. Nobody's talking about taking his SpaceX contract from him and give it to Jeff Bezos. Oh, God. Talk about going from the devil to the deep blue sea. Nobody's talking about pulling that SpaceX contract, by the way. Kanye said something and they took his shoes. Kanye said something, they took his endorsements. Elon Musk is going damn me hog wild. Ain't nobody touching nothing. Tesla gets to keep its deals, gets to keep its contracts. SpaceX gets to keep its NASA deal. Ain't nobody touch nothing over there. They haven't touched anything over there. They just said, hey, man, go ahead and do what you do. Go ahead and do what you do. Then now he's giving them fits and they're saying, wait a minute, is there something we can do about it? Oh, a little bit too late now. Boy, I'm telling you, can you imagine Alex Jones now with no filter? Oh, he was bad before. Can you imagine him now? The Sandy Hook people, are y'all going to be demonstrating outside of Elon's house? What y'all going to do? What are you going to do? And worst of all, you can't blame this on us. You can't blame us for it. Russian bots me ass. Russian bots me ass. Won't be able to blame it on us at least. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the Blackest Radio program in America, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today. As always, you are welcome to join us. Big shout out here to my man Gosen. Thank you very much for your support here in the Super Chat. We appreciate that. Thank you very much for your support, and also to everyone who has contributed to tonight's program on Cash App, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you very much for your support. We got some first-time people here today, and so thank you for making your first contribution. We appreciate that as well. Your black political puppets are failing. The attempts at targeting us are backfiring. Elon Musk is hog wild. Folks don't know what to say or do. They're going out of their minds now. You can't say very much to us. We just sitting here in the background kicking it. We ain't saying nothing. We ain't messing with nobody. We ain't doing anything. We're not doing anything, man. We just minding us. We doing us right now. We are doing us right now. So, hey, y'all get over there and handle that. Don't tell me about Elon Musk being a racist now. We've been saying that forever. Don't say it now. He brought back Alex Jones. The time to be shutting Elon Musk down was when he was saying all that crazy stuff about us before he bought Twitter. That was the time for you to be shutting him down. You should have shut him down then. You didn't do it. Oh, well. Y'all got to go handle that. We already know what to do about Elon. Y'all got to get over there and go handle that. You've created a monster. Let's go ahead and get to the telephone lines. Caller from area code 281. You're on live with the Black Channel. Turn off your speakers.
Hello?
Caller from area code 469. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Thomas calling from Dallas, Texas.
Thomas from Dallas. What's on your mind?
Man, Jason, you're cooking tonight, man. I mean, a Texas-style barbecue on their ass. Definitely, man. Eric Adams didn't see. I mean, I don't know if he's seen this coming or not, but they breaking their two. I didn't know they were gonna break him this fast, man. I mean, this quick. I mean, his daddy won't even talk to him anymore. Daddy Biden won't even talk to his ass anymore. I mean, they throwing him so far up under the bus you can't even see him no more. And this is good. All these black politicians that turned their back on the grassroots black people that could have helped him. We could have saved him, but he was holding them butter biscuits too hard, and he didn't want to let them go. And they threw all these black politicians under the bus.
This was always the plan. This was always the plan. London Breed is out there crying in San Francisco. Baby, this is always the plan. They've always got they brought you in knowing how they were going to take you out. They brought you in. When they gave you your entry papers, they already had your exit plan together. That's exactly what it is. So just remember, there's so many of these folks here think they got this special magic touch that they're going to be different. Yeah, they sold the rest of them out. Yeah, Keisha Bottoms. Yeah, they did. Andrew Gilliam and Stacey. Yeah, I'm going to be different. I'm smarter than that. Oh, remember Eric said that. Remember from those leaked recordings, yep. Eric said that. While these crackers think they did, Eric thought he was smarter. He really did think he was smarter. He really did. And they let him know, oh, don't worry, one-term mayor. And now you all know the playbook. Take a look at the pieces that they put in place. You know the playbook. They are going to bring a Michael Bloomberg. That's going to be their next preferred candidate for mayor of New York. Mark my words. They're going to start grooming another Michael Bloomberg. Tough on crime, all about business, clean up the streets. Yeah, after you all set this up, you're going to bring in some white billionaire. His job will be to, quote, clean it up. Even though there's nothing to clean up because you're the ones who created this. It's not a mess. It is you reorganizing things. It's just a mess for the rest of us. So mark my words, they're going to David Dinkins him, and then they're going to bring in some white dude with a bunch of money behind him and say, oh, he's going to be our savior, Michael Bloomberg 2.0. Mark my word. It'll be a cross between Bloomberg and Giuliani, which that's what Bloomberg was. Mark my words, that's what you're going to see him do next.
Exactly. And what you said, Roly-Poly ain't in Texas, Jason. I don't know where he's at, but he don't know nothing about no Texas. I mean, that fat dude don't know what he's doing. Or what? I mean, they can bring him out if they want to, but he's clueless with the politics going on down here, man. I mean, like you said, they got tolls at the airports, man, down here. George Bush told The 121 toll. I mean, they killing us with these tolls in Texas and Houston too. So yeah, B1, Jason, keep on cooking them, man.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. I mean, yeah, the toll thing is being wielded like a hammer everywhere. New York, Texas, Florida. Even in Texas, you would think it wasn't that big of an issue. No, the toll game is strong over there in Texas. The toll game is strong in Texas. Let me go ahead and get back to the phone lines here. Caller from area code 323. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, Big Brother Jason. This is Brother Elijah calling out of Wheaton, Maryland.
All right, Brother Elijah, what's on your mind?
Hey, brother, I want to add to what you were saying, then I'm going to follow that up with a question, Big Brother. I was watching an interview to tie into what you were saying with Gentrified. I was watching an old interview from the archives, the NBC archives, with Donald Trump and NBC Tom Brokaw. And Donald Trump was one of the first ones to start selling a whole floor. He was talking about selling it for $11 million. And this was back in 1980. Fast forward, he opened the Trump Tower in 1983. And you see where that got him now. My question is, with what when you're talking about with the gentrified situation and with these goofy black mayors out here, Chicago, the black people in Chicago are standing up to the immigrant crisis. Do you think that with the amount of people standing up to it, because Chicago seems like they're the only one who sees what's really going on, do you think these billionaires could actually pull this off?
Yes.
That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, because understand, Chicago isn't the only place this season. There's a bunch of places. We've been talking about this for a long time. So Chicago is just the one that's most acutely feeling it. In New York City, Mayor Adams' numbers are dropping because people ain't okay with what's going on here. You're doing too much. You're doing too much too soon. You're being too blatant with it. This is what happens when you get too blatant. You get too blatant. You get too comfortable, and then you start, overreaching. You start overestimating your ability to abuse things. So that's where we're at right now. So Chicago is not the only one. Chicago is just the most vocal because Chicago about their business. Chicago, I've always said, if you deal with a chick, if you deal with a female from Chicago, she gonna tell you exactly what she thinks. That is what Chicago is. Chicago doesn't bite its tongue. Everybody talks about New York. Chicago don't bite its tongue. Chicago does not bite its tongue. And Chicago is going to be 10 toes down about whatever they think it is. They letting you know, hey, we ain't feeling this. Hey, damn that political correct. Nah, we ain't feeling it. So New York City, there's a lot of that going on, but it's the media is going to have you thinking that the folks don't see it the same way. Here's the issue. Yes, billionaires are not elected. They set up political puppets to be the fall guy. So the political puppet loses the election, but the billionaires behind him are still going to be there. So think of it as an eternal, perpetual, unelected office. They're in office, they hold a political position, but it's unelected, and they serve for life.
Yes, sir.
So they just go from one administration to another, one politician to another. That's what they do over and over again. So think of it in those terms. Yes, and they're going to keep at it. They're going to keep at it. The only thing that they're worried about is a mass population that isn't going to go for it anymore. Now, we've seen this happen at epochs in history. Epochs, look it up. We've seen this happen in eras in history. And, when you started having your Sherman Antitrust Act and the minimum wage and things like that. So what they're going to try to do is streak as far as they can get and go as far as they can get and claim as much as they can get before the hammer comes down. So think of this like a smash and grab robbery. They're going to smash and grab everything they can because think of it in these terms. Look at what Central Park has been for the last century and then take a look at what it is today.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's starting to look like the damn maze. It's starting to look like the beginning from the Maze Runner. You're just in this big square grass arena with these big walls around you. And that's what Central Park is starting to turn into with all these skyscrapers they're building around you. So as far as they're concerned, okay, we won't get everything we want, but then again, those skyscrapers are already built. Those skinny scrapers overlooking it are already built. Hudson Yards is already built. So even if you stop them tomorrow, what can you do about the stuff they've already put there? You see what I mean? It's already there. So think of it in those terms. They're trying to get as far as, it's never been about quote unquote winning, because winning for them is getting as far as you can before you lose. I'll let you have the last word.
Yes, sir. Hey, no, brother, thank you so much for tonight's broadcast. All right, B1 team. Thanks.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. We appreciate that. Let me get caller from area code 321. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason, how you doing? This is Antoine from Orlando.
Antoine from Orlando. What's on your mind?
You're absolutely right. What made me call is what you were talking about from New York. I'm originally from New York. I remember this is years ago. I listened to one of these white supremacists online talking about how they want an ethno state. I think it was Jared Taylor, one of them. I can't remember who it was. But basically the plan was they're trying to get all the black people out of the city, and they want them in the rural areas. Basically kind of like what you described. And I see it here even in Orlando. The prices are ridiculous. Just give you an idea, I live over by the Millennium area. It's just expensive. I know you know about Florida like that. It's getting expensive. And I do see the New Yorkers come here. A lot of, at least the black New Yorkers, a lot of them go to Jacksonville. There's a lot of black New Yorkers down there. And it is just getting ridiculous all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, Florida was one of those places for the snowbirds. So that was always a thing for them. Only in recent years, it's turned into something else. Now it's, a lot of working class focused. Those of you who got pushed out of New York, period. That's what it's turned into. And it's far from the only one. Now, they can't afford to make that streak all the way down to Miami. They usually just end up in Central Florida. Nobody wants to fool with Northern Florida except that Jacksonville Beach area, Jacksonville Beach area. That's really the only one that can accommodate them, because Pensacola isn't built like that. Clearwater's not built like that. But you're right. I mean, it's chased a lot of y'all down there. And that was always the idea. So they've gotten you to build up the city, build up that metropolis, and now they need y'all out because the goal now is a wholesale rebuilding of New York City. Remember, a lot of those structures there are well over a century old. And the only thing these folks want to do now is do something new. So the shot across the bow was Long Island City. When Amazon was talking about setting up there, that's letting you know, we want to rebuild this whole thing. We want to rebuild this whole thing. We got big plans. We want to build this whole thing. Okay, but the only way you can do that now is you got to get rid of a bunch of folk. Because a bunch of folk, anywhere you want to build, there's already a bunch of folk who live there. There's only one solution. They got to go. Yeah, they got to go.
Yeah, they're doing that nationwide because, even here downtown Orlando, the Paramore area, which was a black area, all that's gone. All them black people are gone. They moved them all out of there. They built that arena, the Amway. They have that soccer arena, as you know. It's gone. Anybody from Orlando knows what I'm talking about. That Paramore area was very black. That's where the Classic was at. And people would come for the Classic and make a whole bunch of money, parking and stuff like that. Maybe they'll work that Classic and be good for 6 months. You know what I mean? All that's gone. They bought all of that up.
Okay,
so
slow down. Okay, Paramore. Paramore is like right outside of downtown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right outside downtown by that auditorium. It's an auditorium.
Amway Theater.
Yeah, it's right outside by this auditorium. But that's also where they grabbed dude at. It was all in the news. The fellow who shot his girlfriend and then went to Walmart or whatever and killed a cop. Or I want to say, isn't that where they arrested him when they drug him out from under the house?
No. That was it was more Washington Heights over there.
Okay. If I'm wrong about that,
that was kind of close to Walmart.
That's what I'm saying.
Walmart.
Okay.
Close to Walmart.
Well, I'm not talking about the Walmart. I'm talking about the house they drug him up from under.
Yeah, he was kind of close over there by Washington Heights. That's where they got him at. I know you're talking about that. They took his eye out and stuff.
Well, they turned the news cameras right when that started happening. As soon as they started putting hands and foots on him, that's when the cameras moved. But definitely, like I say, I mean, look, it's just any of those areas there. I didn't know that. Now, that might be something I want to check on if I ever get time. Because, all these areas right outside these places, in Detroit, right outside of Grosse Pointe, on one side of the street, there's the rich white folks. On the other side is the black folks, and it looks bombed out. So those areas where those developments are happening and things like that, I don't know. If you're saying it's gone already, that would be a big swath of land to have to take. But
it's almost gone. If you come down there, you go down to Orlando, where the Paramore, and just giving more
I mean, you're talking about where the
context
homeless.
to Paramore.
You're talking about where the homeless folk are. You're talking about where the homeless folk are, and there's folks hanging out on the street corners and stuff like that. So that's what you're talking about.
They even kicked them out because there was a little tent city over there. They kicked them out. But what I'm saying is they
the tents are
they had
gone.
all those little houses.
Okay. Oh, the tents are gone. Okay.
Remember that?
Well, I kind of, if I'm not mistaken, because I could be mistaken. If I am, just correct me about it. Because I want to say it's like there were some black businesses there and stuff like that, some restaurants, some things like that. Not nothing big, not nothing huge, but they got some mom and pop operations there and stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's cute. But yeah, I mean, you're under the gun, man. You can't have billions of dollars of investment. You can't have that happening. The bright line coming through. It's like, no, you're just here to squatting until we get ready to start moving you out. If we don't enact eminent domain, we will price you out, and that's going to be the end of that.
Yeah, they build a lot of skyscrapers. Once they build that arena over there with the soccer arena, the Orlando's, I forget the name of that team because I don't like soccer that much. Because that's where that soccer arena is at. It's right in the middle of Paramore, and they start building a whole bunch of condos, a whole bunch. You really need to come down here. It's exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I'll see if we can swing through. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Like I said, I try to keep on top of things. I'll see if we can swing through. I've been spending most of my time concentrating on what's happening in Miami because Miami is just coming at you fast and furious. It's really just been tremendous what's been happening in Miami. It's been fast and furious. So I haven't really had the opportunity to be able to look at certain things. But definitely when I get a chance to swing through, we'll see what the difference looks like. When I get a chance to swing through, we'll see what the difference looks like. Caller from area code 704. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Jay from Charlotte.
Jay from Charlotte. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for the broadcast. It's amazing. But yeah, I see a lot of what you're talking about with them building these skyscrapers. I let my people know, look, they're not building this for you. It's a long game, and you already see where they're pricing us out left and right. Pretty much anything outside of the loop, which is the highway inside of the county that Charlotte's in, is expensive, and people are having to, drive an hour plus to commute. So what's interesting is you have a lot of these people that are spending so much money. They want the public services that are here, but a lot of the people that work these public services, they're not even able to afford to be here. They have to now commute further, use more resources, so just wanted to.
Well, brother, folks don't know the half about Charlotte, as a matter of fact. You talk about Charlotte, folks don't know the half about Charlotte. Man, y'all, they got some money up in Charlotte.
Yeah.
They've got some secluded neighborhoods and some gentrified areas where there is real money. I'm talking about, looks like the Hamptons. They got, that's what's going on, not 20 years from now in Charlotte, right now, today. Fully built out, fully decked out, whole enclaves, the whole 9 yards. So
yes, sir.
It would be very easy to replicate what you've seen in New York there. Whole bunch of folks want that manicured lawns and all the little crazy stuff where you got more people employed for cutting the damn grass than you do for maintaining the streets. So it's stuff like that going on. So people don't know the half, and I don't know the areas well enough to be able to name them. I can tell you I've seen it.
Yeah.
But as far as like the names, I can't really say that. Y'all would probably know more than me. So, but there's plenty
outside
of
Uptown, you've got historic Wesley Heights that used to be, at least when I came to Charlotte over 10 years ago, that was where the black folks were, outside of the Uptown area. They've completely redone that. I'm in the real estate industry, so I see how the houses have the prices have gone up exponentially, and they're doing nothing but multifamily, so no more single family. So the idea is to pack people on top of each other.
Well, I mean, not just that. I'm talking about, y'all got large estates out there. Y'all got whole neighborhoods that are just, big, McMansions. Not
those
so
go for
proper,
super
but
premium.
Oh yeah, I mean, with
city.
the prices and everything else, not just with the prices and everything else to go with it and stuff. It's very, very deceptive. It's real deceptive with people. Oh yeah, and by the way, the tolls. Oh yeah, one more thing, and the tolls. Did I forget to mention that? Y'all, do you see a damn pattern forming? Not in New York, in Charlotte. Not in New York now, in Charlotte. Yeah, I was naming everything else. I was going to say, I forgot about the tolls. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
that's new.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely, you're right. Actually, those things are new. You're right because they're building them out. Because they're building them out, so
Yeah.
they're all nice, they're bright, they're clean, and they're expensive.
And they're managed by people not even in the country, by the way. I learned that.
Oh no, we don't do that anymore. You got foreign investment coming over here. These like public-private partnerships. There's foreign investment coming over here.
Right.
Anything and everything to prevent black folk from owning anything. That's exactly what's going on.
you.
They're shaking hands. Stop letting anybody sit up here and scare you out the damn, quote, communist Chinese and the Russians. They sitting up here getting investment from these people. They're taking money from these folk. Period.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller area code 215. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Jay from Philly.
Jay from Philadelphia. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man, it's sad. I don't know if you had the chance to earlier, but Vicky Dillard, she did a show earlier talking about how basically how the I'm pretty sure B1 already knows it, but basically talking about how they like there's a plan, a comprehensive plan, like the next couple of decades to basically flush Black Americans out of the economy, like for good. And I don't know how possible it is, but that's like a plan, like by the Democrats themselves. That's number one.
Well, the plan has been to do that here now since antebellum slavery. I've been saying since the beginning, the only goal when you are done with your slave population, you liquidate them. That is what you do.
Yeah.
When somebody has finished serving their purpose, you liquidate them. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 234. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, my name is Darius. I'm calling from Akron, Ohio.
All right, Darius from Akron. What's on your mind?
Hey, man. I've just been noticing some things that's been going around my town. My mother was at the county building just trying to check on her money because she believes that they've just been taxing people's checks to kind of fund all this stuff with all these immigrants coming over. And she said that she's noticed that they have a secret door in the back where they're just flooding like all these different immigrant groups into the buildings, giving them everything for free. They got rid of the black security guard and then replaced him with like a military dude with military style weapons. I find that pretty weird because like the Midwest hasn't really had no type of uptick with immigrants. But I do notice that we do have a lot of towns around here that are black or have a strong black enclave. And just to kind of piggyback off of what that brother just said, I believe that they're about to start flooding the Midwest with a lot of these Latino and
They've already
African
started.
groups.
They've already started. Here's why it is so deceptive and so hard to see. Let me explain to you all how this works, because if you haven't cataloged this long enough, for those of you who may live in the Midwest, if you're not familiar with some of the megalopolises like New York and Los Angeles and the pathology that they used, first and foremost, you have to understand that New York is one of the oldest cities. Remember that New York was the capital of slavery before the capital started moving to the South. All right. Now you got a whole bunch of economic commerce that's concentrated in those areas in a very old place. That means that they get their economic plans down to a science. New York is the place where you're the land of skyscrapers. But when New York was built out, what did they do? The developers in New York spread out. They first went to California. Then they started bouncing around because it could sustain it. It could sustain it financially. But then when they got that built out in LA, they started going to other places. And now that's why you have your quote top 10 cities. We watched that develop over the course of 1 decade. From the 1980s and the 1990s. Atlanta wasn't anything to talk about by the time in the mid 80s. By the time we get to the mid 90s, Atlanta is quote unquote popping. You got the Westin downtown, the tallest restaurant hotel in the Western Hemisphere in Atlanta, not New York, not California, Atlanta. So that big money didn't just go away and vanish. That big money has been a traveling caravan of merchants going from one place to another. But there's also been a pathology that's gone along with it, because you see, they need to support infrastructure. Well, Jason, what do you mean by support infrastructure? By that, I mean menial labor. And that's where they start. That's where they get their foothold. So I said all that to say, in New York City, everybody's talking about the folks who drive the cabs or this, that, and the other. But what they don't talk about are the folks who live right outside New York, right outside in that Westchester area, right outside in Valhalla, whatever it is, right outside there, the nanny game among the Caribbean immigrants has been popping forever. Them white women ain't gonna do no work. The nanny game has been popping forever in those areas. So you all just think about that as a New York City thing. But in reality, the stronghold of that kind of stuff is right outside those major metropolitan areas. So the places where they are aggregating the folks who do the landscaping, you see that down in Florida a lot on the golf courses. You see that in Florida a lot on the golf courses. So these folks who do the grass cutting, taking care of the grass, taking care of the kids, that menial labor, there's actually armies of them, but they're not housed in the city. Well, Jason, where are they? See, this is something y'all are going to have to learn about. Man, they stay in these flop houses. I'm from Louisiana. I remember 25 years ago, I was driving by one morning in Bossier City and literally saw about 30 of them come jumping out the back of an 18-wheeler early in the morning from the trailer of it. Jumped out the back of an 18-wheeler, and there was like 3 vans from one of the landscaping companies. They pulled up, and the back doors opened. About 30 of them came jumping out that son of a gun. About 30 or 40 came jumping out, hopped in the vans, and off they go. Not in Los Angeles, in Louisiana. Not in California, Louisiana. So for those of you who live in Akron, in Cleveland, in Gary, Huffington, we can go down the list. Y'all don't see it because the folks who brought them over here don't live where you live, and they putting them up in a place where they're going to be out of sight. Because that's the only, you got to move them in, you can't have it be seen and be obvious. All you're going to see one day is them pop up. Well, Jason, where will they pop up? Usually they come popping up at Walmart. You'll see them show up on the weekends in big ass vans when they really get it going. You'll start seeing it then. In New York City, they actually are more blatant with it. But for the rest of us, especially those of you in the Midwest who've not accustomed to this kind of thing, you're not seeing them. But I'm telling you, they're already there. Hell, it's already been on the news. Biden been dropping them off and giving them planes and stuff, but you haven't seen them because for now, they need to remain out of sight. They're being organized. Jason, organized how? Okay, just like they run drugs into the United States, for those of you who don't know, they got mules. They got labor mules. So if you need crops picked, if you need hotels flopped, if you need a whorehouse, if you need massage, man, they got illegal alien labor mules. They got labor mules. So if you looking to get that, if there's something that you want, there's folks down here, just like they got folks who run the drugs, they got folks who run the illegals. They got people who run the illegals. It's what they do. All day, every day. Just like you got folks dealing drugs, you got folks dealing in illegal labor. They keep them out the way. They keep them quiet. They tell them folks, hey, keep it down. Don't make no trouble. Don't get seen. You're going to blow the spot up. And they're all out there, 40, 50 of them piled up in one house. Piled up in one house. And when it's time to sprinkle down, they go do the work. And then they tell them, okay, you got to go back with yours. Lay low. Lay low. Don't be out being seen and whatnot. Lay low. Call America 917. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Brother Black, how you doing? It's Sage from Brooklyn.
All right, Sage from Brooklyn. What's on your mind?
Okay, brother. So I'm going to lay it on you because you woke up a sleeping giant. So I'm going to lay the business on you right now, specifically about New York. So what you were talking about with congestion pricing, we're talking about vehicles, cars that's going to have to pay at least $15 to go into Manhattan. From Brooklyn, from the Bronx, from, Queens, from Staten Island. Well, you got to pay anyway from Staten Island, but, and then we're talking about trucks paying at least $22 or more. Not just that. New York City is also doing like a sound and noise ordinance thing on vehicles that play too loud of music. So if your vehicle is driving in Manhattan, they're going to start it in Manhattan. There are cameras out here that'll catch your vehicle's sound, and if your vehicle's music is too loud, they'll take a photo of your license plate and you will get charged $800 up to $2,500 in the fine.
Yeah, I heard about that too. I heard about the cameras, and they've been talking about that forever. First of all, this is a product of your taxpayer dollars. That technology of sound isolation, you heard about it rolled out decades ago in Chicago. First of all, they were using it in Iraq. That's first. First, they were using it in Iraq to figure out where shooters were, where snipers were shooting from, and things like that. So they're using technology to triangulate where they were shooting from. Then you see Chicago allegedly get this technology and start using it for what they said New Year's, to figure out when folks were shooting in the air on New Year's. And yet you don't see a bunch of people getting arrested for shooting in the air on New Year's. So it sounds like it was a grab. Now you're seeing this technology migrating over to New York City at the same time they want to charge you for driving in there and whatnot. Allegedly, oh, don't worry, we're going to make things better here. So you're absolutely right. I did hear about that as well. And this is something that's been migrating and developing now over the course of decades. Taxpayer funded.
Yep. So the third thing, when you talk about ethnic cleansing, and by you seeing that, you woke something up too, because Rosedale, a lot of immigrants like to tout about Rosedale and how they make more money than the white people over there. So what New York City is doing now is a capital recon over in Rosedale, and anyone's property that has like a defect on their sidewalk, they're putting liens on that specific property. So what they're trying to do is get those people out of there via the liens. So if you cannot pay that lien, if you don't have money saved up to pay this lien, you can't keep this property. And that's how New York is trying to basically ethnically cleanse that Rosedale area where, most of the immigrants are, the Caribbeans and other immigrants are. So
they're bringing them in to tax them.
10 years? I'm sorry, say it again?
They're bringing them in to tax them. That's the trick bag for them. They coming over here and whatnot, thinking they talking big, and when they get done, it's like, oh, you're going to be the ones we tax, not the billionaires, not them. We're getting you.
Correct. I say in about 10 years, there probably won't be more than 5% of black immigrants in that area. I could say about 10 years, because what they're doing today is going to have enormous effects in the future.
I'd give it 20 years. I'd give it closer to 20 years, but you're absolutely true. This is not accidental. What you're seeing in Houston to drill down those numbers. These folks are going to come over here thinking that they're different and whatnot, and then by the time they realize that they're the targets and they are the meat, it'll be too late. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Now, let me get caller from code 626. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Jason? It's Van Ross coming from 626, man. What's good?
Okay, Van Braun from 626. What's on your mind?
I wanted to talk about this little crisis and everything like that. Right now, as you can hear, with all the jostling and everything like that, I'm over here on the streets of Tampa. It's affecting me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm about to go, and I'm on the line, right?
Yes, sir. You're on. What's your point, brother?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I work day labor out here in the States. I've been to 40 plus states. I work day labor out here in Tampa right now. And what you were talking about earlier, either on last night's show or this episode, where you were talking about how these skyscrapers are being built by the immigrant slave class, I basically do the cleanup job for those things. You see what I'm saying? And it's true that they're built really shoddy, and they have a system and how this is done. So basically, these people, they come in, you pay them under the table, so they're making less than what the U.S. citizens are making, but you pay them under the table. They do these shoddy jobs, which take around like 3 months, and then if people have enough money, they'll go and buy a punch-out crew, which will then be the good old boys who basically go over their work. It's really backwards, but I could tell that the cats that drive up in those big white trucks that run these sites, they're basically hiring these immigrants, I believe, just for tax breaks on top of everything else. You know what I mean? And paying them under the table. Yeah, I've been in like 40 plus states, and it's the same tune. It's the same tune. The stuff that the previous caller was talking about with Orlando, all that's correct. When I first started coming down to Florida, everything that he basically mentioned is exactly what I've seen and exactly what I've experienced. And right now I'm over here in Tampa, and yeah, it's basically the same thing. I dread having to do You know what I mean? Having to go and work amongst this class of people. You know what I mean?
Well, like I say, I mean, you make a very good point. They didn't end up there by accident. They've been brought there, which is the whole point. They've been brought there. And this is not accidental. This is the plan. And the plan is to, well, you're talking about how methodically it's being done, and they got them hid out in places. They bring them in. They're making money coming and going. They bring in the white dudes. They going to make some money off of it and whatnot. And it starts sounding like the Sopranos and some mafioso stuff from New York is what it starts sounding like. But by the same token, once they get done, if you really think about it, this kind of reminds you of the FIFA stadium that the UAE built or whatever, or building the Burj Khalifa. They bring in those are illegals too, by the way. The labor that built the Burj Khalifa, that built the FIFA stadium, that was all illegal alien labor too. It was in the Middle East, but those are illegals too. But their job was to do all the hard work. They're in the sweltering heat and this, that, and the other. They build that for the Arabs, and then they kick them out the country. They build up their infrastructure and then kick them out. So, no, it's not a surprise. This is the way the system works. And when the rich get what they want, they'll keep enough of you around to service what they built. But the goal then is like, okay, all of y'all got to go. Where are we going to go? Why don't you go to Kansas? How about that? Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller America 713. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Tony in Houston.
Tony in Houston. What's on your mind, brother?
Well, you hit on Detroit. I was a sophomore in high school when Whitmire was running for politics here in Houston. Obviously, now he's the mayor. I was born and raised in Detroit. I left Detroit in 1987. I remember when Detroit, what it used to be, and you're quite right. Detroit has literally been depopulated over the last 35 years. They have a small percentage of black people there, 600,000 people in the city, they claim. 40% of them literally live in poverty, quite literally poverty. So you can imagine just exactly what that's like. However, the Detroit riverfront, which borders Canada, has been built up. Skyscrapers are there. It's an extremely affluent townhomes built downtown. So I know what Detroit used to be, and I know what it is now. As far as Houston goes, Whitmire, Shelia Jackson Lee is finished. Her demographic of old church folks here in Houston pretty much are dying out. And she realizes that, I'm sure. She knew that's why she really wasn't all in on this campaign. She really was not. Anybody could tell that. And so her demographic is pretty much gone. Hopefully things do improve here. I can say as a West Houston resident, the streets need to be repaid, new construction on the streets. They're terrible. And certainly as far as the crime situation goes, Houston's got something to do with that. They need to tighten up on a lot of the things that are going on here, and Whitmire said he'll do it. So, but it's still a livable city. It's still a city for families, and you can still make it here in Houston. You really can.
Yeah, here's my thing. When I think about things like the turkey leg hut, when I think about the things like these nuisance ordinances and whatnot, what does Sylvester Turner do for us? What did he do? Because I can see who Whitmire is bringing over here. I can see who he's working with. I can see it.
Turner did nothing. Turner was a crony. He had a lot of cronies down there, and a lot of scandals. And just recently, the city employee, the black woman, works in the contracts or whatever, gave a $4 million construction contract to her brother, who lives in an apartment complex in the rundown part of the city. He doesn't own a construction firm any more than I do, but she gave him a $4 million construction contract. She's on leave pending investigation with pay. So it's a lot of corruption down there with Sylvester Turner, and he didn't really care. He didn't care.
I guess she figured, well, let me go do these 5 years for this $4 million, and I guess that'll work out.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. That's what a lot of them are thinking now. Well, let me see if I steal $5 million, if they give me 5 years, $1 million a year, I can do that. Call America 470. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello.
Call America 470. You're on live. What is your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, sir. I'm calling from Duluth, Georgia.
What is your name, sir?
Kevay Jackson.
Okay, Kevay Jackson, and what is on your mind?
Is there any way we can go a little bit off topic with Lake Lanier, Georgia?
No. Call America 817. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Charles Kearse. I've been trying to get to understanding who these white supremacists are, my brother. I've been listening to you for
Charles.
3 years now, and you keep talking
Where
about white
you?
supremacists.
Where are
Can
you calling
name some
from,
names?
Charles?
I'm calling from Aubrey, Texas.
Okay, Charles from Aubrey, Texas. And what is on your mind, Charles?
I would like to know, can you name a white supremacist? You keep talking about them so much. I just need a name so I could do some more research.
Okay. Call America 845. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? And by the way, if Charles pops up in the chat room talking about, see, he wouldn't tell me who the white supremacist is, ban him. Call America 845. Last try. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Call America 510. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Mr. Jason Black. This is Black Voltron. I'm calling deep East Oakland, California.
My man, Black Voltron, what's on your mind, brother?
Hey, man, I just wanted to chime in on the conversation today. I just recently, 2 weeks ago, took a trip back east from D.C. all the way up to Boston. And just, I was literally completely shocked by all the changes that have happened, especially in these so-called black cities that, what used to be chocolate cities, heavily black populations. I mean, man, they look like the Bay Area, Los Angeles now. I mean, the amount of illegals, Mexicans, Central and South Americans and stuff there are just incredible. I cannot tell the difference between what used to be the Mid-Atlantic East Coast and California. It's literally the same thing. As far as prices and just the demographic changes, the property cost changes of everything, the skyscrapers going up, especially New York City that I happen to slide through. It's just incredible. I don't see any difference between what's happening on the East Coast or the West Coast. High rises everywhere, unaffordable housing everywhere, homelessness everywhere, just like it is out here in Cali. And it's
wherever that New York aristocracy goes, that's what follows. As I said, they started off in New York, then they came out to California, then they went out there and did their job out. They did their dirty work out there. Now they moved down to Florida. You can see what they've done there. Now they're moving over to Texas. No income taxes in Florida and Texas. So you see what they're doing there. So they go and work their magic, and when they get done, they're like a disease that spreads, and everywhere starts to look like where they came from, some microcosm of it. And what they're letting you know now is that, for the future, their idea of economic development is simply going to be economic maintenance. They want their slave labor class. They've chosen who it's going to be. There's some people here who are basically not going to rock the boat. The old slave class, that was us. We ain't going with the garbage anymore. So we need a buffer class to replace them. So you're going to have your Asians who are going to serve as your middle management. Those are going to be the people who run your infrastructure for you there. You'll own it. The Asians will run it, and the Latinos will be the manual labor. And that's the idea.
But here's the thing, Jason. It's like, I don't know if brothers and sisters out here really realize, the end game with that. First, they bring in, the Mexicans, Central Americans, South Americans. But out here on the West Coast, I mean, we got an Asian invasion now where they're just coming in by the boatload, by the airplane load, and, literally through the southern border, California, Arizona, Texas, and New Mexico. And they're going to come in and take over where, the Spanish speakers, south of Bordarians, they have their place, but the Asians are going to take their place after that.
Well, I mean,
don't
but
think
brother,
people in back east don't
I've been watching that for a while. I've been following that for a minute. And I was talking about, San Mateo I was talking about San Mateo over a decade ago. I was talking about, well, everybody was talking about San
Yes,
Francisco. I was talking about, in Mayor Lee, I was talking about San Mateo over a decade ago and how the Asians are treating the black children at that school. I've been talking about that then. Everyone's talking about San Francisco. I was the guy who was talking about the direct flight from India, 17 hours direct flight to San Francisco. I've been watching that for a while.
Yes,
so
sir.
while I would like to tell you, yeah, there's some action happening on the southern border. There certainly is. There are certainly some very suspicious things happening on that southern border, especially where these Chinese nationals or people who look like Chinese nationals are coming through the southern border. Absolutely. But truth be told, brother, you take a look at San Francisco, and it's actually already been there. San Mateo, actually already been there. Acadia, actually already been there. Remember, you got a bunch of Chinese millionaires out there in Acadia. A bunch of them already. Yep. So I would love to tell you that it's on its way. What these numbers here will do is simply supercharge, because these folks there is like China. I can't even say it's like Chinatown. What this is going to do is you've got all these folks there who are well-to-do. They are organized. They have a code of conduct. Bringing in all these masses is simply going to help supercharge what they've already been doing.
Here's what you don't see, though. It's not just the Chinese and the Taiwanese. What you're not seeing, what they're not talking about, are the East Indians and people from the southern Asian regions that are coming in, not only for San Mateo, Daly City, San Francisco, actually entire Bay Area, period. But now they're coming into the Central Valley and taking over these farms. And that's what, the food sources.
Yeah, the East Indians, that used to be a big thing for the southern United States. Remember our former governor of Louisiana, Bobby Jindal, Nikki Haley out there, South Carolina. Right. So you had a lot of these East Indians in southern states traditionally hadn't had a whole lot of representation out there in California in any mass numbers. Now you're starting to see that tick up as well. So you're going to start seeing your Vivek Ramaswamis and those types. You're going to start seeing a bump in those numbers too. So it came in through the tech hub, and Bill Gates, of course, leading the charge. We need to bring in as many of them as we can. Okay, and then you find out what you're bringing in are a bunch of Bobby Jindals, Nikki Haley's, and Vivek Ramaswamis, and Dinesh D'Souza. I can go down the list. That's what you're bringing over here. A bunch of individuals that you're going to claim they're highly skilled and highly intelligent, but they're also highly racist. And that's the point. That's why they're like, oh, you're exactly the kind of person we want. You want to be white more than we want to be white. Come on in.
Big time. Big time. Hey, keep doing what you're doing, Jason. Thank you for sounding an alarm. And I would hope that people would, not only, listen, but, take action and do everything we can to, build up your power, wealth, and influence so that, we can make our own stake here, because we're going to keep getting priced out. Already in California, we're less than 5%. Oakland's less than 20%. We like you said, 10 years ago, we've already lost to, California. But they're coming to a city, state near you. All y'all in the Midwest, South, and East Coast. What happened here in California is happening to you as we speak. Stop, putting your head in the sand. Get off your ass and do something. Be one to the fullest, and thank you.
Be one, brother. Thank you very much for giving us a call here. Nice South Dakota, man. I mean, just all the way up to the Canadian border. You got them showing up everywhere. Caller from Area Code 571. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, what's good? Official MGTOW, Woodbridge, Virginia. Just like I asked you last time.
Caller from Area Code 504. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason. It's G from New Orleans.
G from New Orleans. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, brother. I want to ask a question. I wanted to know, do you think that this reaction that we've seen, these black Democratic leaders like Shelia Jackson Lee and Eric Adams, do you see the reason they're opposed or losing these elections has anything to do with like a backlash from Barack Obama's term in presidency? By that I mean like black people just not interested in voting in these elections because of his presidency didn't yield anything for them.
Yes, pretty much. I mean, think of it this way. The old civil rights generation, remember, brother, that was 15 years ago. Think about that for a few moments. Folks, this wasn't yesterday. This wasn't 5 years ago. Barack Obama got elected 15 years ago. Brother, that's a lifetime in politics. That's a lifetime in technology. That's a lifetime in politics. So 15 years. So a lot of the folk who were supporting him so blindly, a bunch of the Sister Girl crowd, the Dance the Dougie and Sing Al Green crowd, brother, a lot done changed since they murdered Trayvon Martin. A lot changed. There was no new black media as a force when Barack Obama got elected. You had TV One, BET, and CNN bringing on Oscar Mayer, Roland Martin. That's what you had. And so everybody went with that. Hell, people were still reading Ebony and Essence. Today, it's a whole new ball game. Folks are not going to those old, antiquated, mothball media outlets for their news and information anymore. They don't trust them. So the dynamic has changed. The body politic has changed. The culture has changed. So that's why dragging out Obama ain't winning nothing anymore. He's obsolete. He's a star among that hardcore cult following of old timers and old fogies who remember him. But for those of us who are young enough and watching and monitoring what he was doing, we fell out of love real damn quick. So they're preaching to an electorate that is either dead or dying. And they are being very slow to accept this numerical reality, which means they're going to need to get their heads busted open a lot more, and they're going to need to lose a lot more elections until they finally just break and say, damn it, what is it you niggas want? Well, you already know what we want. Well, can we give you a 50% down payment? Okay, let's call you back next election.
Right, yeah. And and I think also to add to that, the days of voting for people just because of what they look like are over with. I mean, I live in New Orleans. We've had, Mayor Cantrell, of course, before her was Mitch Landry, who didn't do a damn thing. But going from Dutch Morial to Sidney Bartholomew, then Mark Morial and Ray Nagin, black people in truthfulness, we've regressed in this city. We don't control any businesses. We have no economic development in our neighborhood. I see it even in that, even in other areas where they have black mayors or Democratic leaders. It's regressed. It's shit. It's gone to shit. And I think we're not, people, as you stated, they're not feeling it anymore. And Barack Obama, his presidency, he played a role in that, especially when you looked at it. All he did in his time in office was talking about gay people.
Well, trying to rerun that same playbook that worked under him, that indirect thing that, well, I'm black, so I don't have, just trust me, I ain't going to talk about no black issues, but trust me, I'm going to deal with that behind the scenes. That is dead and gone. And every election cycle that passes now, every time you put it to a vote, you're seeing more and more proof that any of you folks still from that old crusty, dusty, cobweb-covered generation trying to roll this old benign neglect, indirect assistance, rising tide, lift all boats, we can't really say your name political strategy, it's dead. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get a caller from area code 310. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Jason, this is TJ out of Los Angeles.
All right, TJ out of Los Angeles, what's on your mind?
All right, so I just wanted to add to what you were saying today in terms of our resources getting rediverted to foreign populations and illegal immigrants. I work in education in Los Angeles, and if you come to the school and you cannot talk English, that is the qualification to get more resources. So while the black students are falling behind and are dead last in almost every academic metric, someone coming from another country that cannot speak the language is purposely given set-asides immediately in terms of testing and actual resources like extra tutoring that should be going to students from here. They're giving those academic resources away just like those government and housing resources.
Good point that you make right there on your screens here. Let me go ahead and show y'all real quick on your screens. You can see this here from PBS. College leaders face congressional hearings over anti-Semitism and Islamophobia on campus. They get sent to the front of the line for that. I reposted another story here from earlier today. Associated Press. The State Department approves the sale of tank ammunition to Israel in a deal that bypasses Congress. All these other folks and lying-ass bastards sit up here and tell you we need to have a hearing in the committee. Jason, y'all got to understand, you can't just go jump up and go do things. The president ain't no dictator. He can't just jump up and do things. They're literally reporting here in the Associated Press. By the way, yeah, they're going to sell ammunition and tank ammunition to Israel and bypass Congress. Now, the Congress is supposed to control the purse strings of the United States, not the president. It specifically says that in the Constitution, that the power of the purse, the power of the budget is with Congress, not the president. He cannot just sit up and arbitrarily spend money, arbitrarily make deals. Remember, they got into trouble with as far back as the Louisiana Purchase for that. I think that was Thomas Jefferson. They got in trouble as far as back as that. President's not supposed to be making deals like that. And here you are in the modern era with the Associated Press telling you, by the way, yeah, we're bypassing Congress to sell ammunition to Israel. And somewhere in his grave, Ronald Reagan is sitting around saying, what? Excuse me? Iran-Contra what? Oliver North is out there somewhere today saying, so y'all want to put me in prison for what again? What exactly was it I did again that you wanted to put me in prison for? Excuse me, I can't hear you over the sound of all this money going to Israel for tank ammunition. What were you trying to put me in prison for again? I'll let you have the last word.
Absolutely. And Jason, I appreciate everything you're doing. In addition, I'll just finish with this. In addition to the tutoring resources, I have to give the non-English speaking student tests and assignments in their language, and I have to give them all the modifications they need to get about a B in the class. And they're doing this while our students are C and not passing.
Brother, they're doing this while they're putting the black children in handcuffs, expelling them from school, and sending them to school away from school. That's what they're doing with the black kids. The school to prison pipeline, it has never stopped flowing. But these other folks, I said it here before, they're not bringing them over here. Ain't none of them working their way up. They're bringing them over here, and because they would fail. If you brought these folks over here and didn't give them any assistance, in other words, what you've been doing with us, they would fail. So how is it they're succeeding? Oh, because they're getting assistance, and not a little bit. They're getting free healthcare, free education, free housing. All the stuff that you've been denied, and we've been telling you, that would be reparations, and that'd be wrong. These folks are getting that from the outset. And then 20 years later, if it ever gets that far along, when you quiz them about it, their kids are on Twitter telling you, my mom and dad came over here with nothing and worked their way up and pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. Meanwhile, here you are having to rewrite the damn school papers in their native language to make sure that, they don't have to compete, as Richard Spencer would celebrate. They're being given an outcome. Now, you got to compete. You losing your affirmative action, which didn't help you anyway, so which is why we're not crying about it. You're losing anything that would assist you. These folks are being given everything. Yeah, this isn't accidental. This is deliberate. You damn right. Cut the check. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. You damn right. What do y'all want politically? What you voting for? Cut the check. You want us to just give you money? You giving it to these illegals? You're giving it to the illegals? You're giving it to outright terrorists. You're bringing these folks over here and you breaking bread off the gap. You breaking bread off the rip. They didn't have to march, campaign, or nothing. You giving them bread right off the rip. And then telling us what you can't do and ain't gonna do. It's like, okay, well, you know what? Why don't we just go ahead and sit here and fall back and we'll take care of this issue by other means. But don't expect us to sit up here and help your political fortunes. Oh, hell no. Cut the check. That's it. What's our political mantra? Cut the check. That's it. What do y'all want? Didn't you hear me say cut that damn check? You got us sitting up here having hearings. These folks are getting cash payments and not hearing one. We'll hold a reparations hearing and a reparations forum and a reparations committee. These other folks getting benefits. By the way, what happened to their committee? Why come they didn't have to have a reparations forum and a reparations hearing? What happened to their hearing? Oh, we can't do that with them. With time is of the essence, we got to hurry up. So let me get this straight. They don't have to go through a hearing, jump no hoops. They don't have to do any of that. We got to go through all this rigmarole. We got to go through all these complications. We got to go through all these regulations. These other folks just being given what they need. Didn't campaign or nothing. We're just not playing the game anymore. That's all. We're just not playing the game anymore. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. The political puppets are failing, people. And going into 2024, it's going to get even worse for them. Mark my words. And we will be here to give you every moment of it. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we are here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you to everyone who has contributed to support the program tonight. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future